The sinner sang, tender as a whisper, but loud in its refrain. May it hang on my lip for the rest of my days. There's something about the name of Jesus. It sounds like forgiveness, sounds like amazing grace. It beckons my soul to sing forever. There's just something about that name. Pray it over family when we rise and when we sleep. Sing it over sorrow and the soul is given peace. Sing it in famine or in prosperity. May we never forget that He is all that we need. There's something about the name of Jesus. It sounds like forgiveness, sounds like amazing grace. It beckons my soul to sing forever. There's just something about that name. There is still no other name. You still have the power to save. You can empty any grave. Forever, Jesus, it's your name. There is still no other name. You still have the power to save. You can empty any grave. Forever, Jesus, it's your name. There is something about the name of Jesus. It sounds like forgiveness, sounds like amazing grace. It beckons my soul to sing forever. There's just something about that name. There's just something about that name.
Hey, good morning, New Vintage. Good morning, good morning. It's great to see you guys here. It's great to be here with you today. Welcome. My name is Bobby. If you're a first-time visitor, a guest, we want to say a more excited welcome to you guys. We got a gift for you guys in the back if this is your very first time. After service, if you come meet us on the red carpet, we just want to meet you, learn your name, and say hello. If I fumble through my words a little bit, it's because I'm not usually up here. They originally asked Adon to be up here, and Adon told Darren, that's actually below my pay grade. So they brought me in, totally joking. Don's over in kids ministry today. If you don't know Adon, he's our community pastor. And it fits him, right? Adon is a person with a heart of gold. He is for people. He is for the community. He serves. He loves on people. So that position fits him really well. And community is something that we take very seriously here at New Vintage. We often say we love to look out into the audience and see you guys gathering here on Sundays, but we want so much more for you. We want you to plug in, make friends, make bonds with people. And so we have small groups that you could sign up for on newvintage.org. Most of them just launched the fall groups, but we got one new group that's starting. Now, we know that making a commitment for 8, 12, 16 weeks, it can be tough, a weekly thing. So if it doesn't fit your schedule, we have a men's group that meets every Friday, and you can pop in when you can. And we have a women's group that meets on Mondays, and you can pop in when you can. Well, now we have a couples group that you can pop in Yeah, here we go. It's launching October 19th, which is a Wednesday, and it'll be here on campus. You'll hear more about that in the coming weeks. But this is for your married couples. Maybe you're engaged, maybe you're dating, maybe you're thinking about breaking up. I don't know. You can come, you could pop in, and it's non-committal, so like whenever it fits your schedule. You know, you got work, you got kids, the whole baby mama drama thing. So yeah, couples groups is launching, and let's see. I think that's everything we got today. We're going to hear some more songs from Aaron and the rest of the band, so can we hear it for them? And enjoy.
If you want to. There is no fear, 'cause I believe. There is no doubt, 'cause I have seen your faithfulness, my fortress, over and over. I have a hope found in your name. I have a strength found in your grace. Your faithfulness, my fortress, over and over. Make way through the water, walk me through the fire. Do what you are famous for, what you are famous for. Shut the mouth of lions, bring dry bones to life. Do what you are famous for, what you are famous for. I believe in you, God, I believe in you. Release your love inside of me. Unleash your power for all to see. Spirit, come and fall on us over and over. Oh Lord, make way through the water, walk me through the fire. Do what you are famous for, what you are famous for. Shut the mouths of lions, bring dry bones to life. Do what you are famous for, what you are famous for. God of exceedingly, God of abundantly, more than we ask or think. Lord, you will never fail. Your name is powerful, your word's unstoppable. All things are possible in you. God of exceedingly, God of abundantly, more than we ask of thee. Lord, you will never fail. Your name is powerful, your word's unstoppable. All things are possible. Hey, yeah. Make way through the water, walk me through the fire. Do what you are famous for, what you are famous for. Shut the mouth of lions, bring dry bones to life. Do what you are famous for, what you are famous for. I believe in you. I believe in you. There is no fear, 'cause I believe. There is no doubt, 'cause I have seen your faithfulness, my fortress, over and over. Good morning, everyone. So this next song that we're about to sing is a new one. It's called Make Room.
And what it's about is opening up your heart and making room for the love of God, regardless of your worries, your preconceptions about how a relationship with God should work, getting rid of the worries that you have related to religion, maybe, and opening that space and just connecting and letting God work his magic in you, regardless of all the stuff that you've been carrying around. So I invite you now to sing this with us. Move into it and make room.
whatever you want to do whatever you want to, and I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. This is where I lay it down. You are all I'm chasing now. This is my surrender. This is my surrender. Here is where I lay it down. You are all I'm chasing now. This is my surrender. This is my surrender. Spoke a word that you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind. Still your love far from me. You've been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You've been so, so kind to me. Oh,
Great job, band. Great job. Let's hear it from them one more time. Great job, you guys. Amazing. I personally love that song. It's just a great reminder that, no matter where we are in life, no matter how many times we drop the ball, we mess up, and I know I mess up a lot, that God's love is always there for each and every one of us. So I really enjoy that song. Thank you, guys. I want to invite you guys to join us on Serve Day. Serve Day is something that we do twice a year. We close service here, we close down the church, and we go out into our community and we love on our people and we serve our community. There's various projects. Last time we did some campus cleanups, we did some painting projects, we did yard cleanups, we just helped and served. So if you go to newvintage.org and click the button serve, you can pick somewhere to serve. And we would love for you guys to partake in it. It's a great event. The night before that, the 22nd, we are going to be here doing a night of worship. And that is also one of my favorite events. We do that a few times a year, where the band comes up and does their thing, and we just lift our voices and we just come together. So it's a great event. So if you can mark your calendars, the 23rd and the 22nd, and be a part of that. We also have an event coming up, Trunk or Treat. It's something that the Santa Rosa Police Department is putting on, and Darren wants us to donate the candy for that. So next week, if you guys can all bring a bag of candy, and we are going to give that to the police station so that they can go and bless the community, the kids, with that. So Trunk or Treat, next week we're going to be praying for them. The staff is going to write handwritten thank you notes to the men and women of the police department. And in Darren's words, he wants to hook them up fat. He didn't tell me if it's he didn't tell me if it's PH fat or F fat. I don't know. Maybe after eating so much candy, I don't know. But that's what we're going to do. So bag of candy next week if you can. And all these things are made possible because of your generosity, right? So when we give, we can do the Trunk or Treat. We can do Bailey's Christmas. We can do Serve Day. We can just spread positivity, spread love, spread God. And we can do that because of your generosity. So there's 3 ways you can give. You can give online, newvintage.org. You can text that number up top. And for the old school, we got a donation box in the back. So we encourage you to do so. If it's your first time, don't trip. Don't give anything. We don't want anything from you. We want something for you. Like I mentioned, we have a gift in the on the red carpet in the back for you. But if you call New Vintage your home, we encourage you to practice generosity. And if you don't want to give here, we just say give somewhere else, to a nonprofit that you know, like, trust, believe in. Because when you practice generosity and you give, you get so much more in return. When you help someone in need, you can't describe the feeling that you have because of it. So if you could give, that would be great. We really appreciate that. And next, we're going to be hearing from the lady, the myth, the legend. We have an amazing speaker today. She is our transit pastor. Yeah, transit pastor. Yep. She works with the middle school here, and she is just she's just salt and light. So Natalie Goodrich will be coming up next. Thanks, guys. Enjoy.
Hi. Good morning. That's very kind. Thank you. My name is Natalie Goodrich, for those of you that might just walked in or opened your computer online. I'm not Darren. I know. Don't close your computer. No, don't worry. I am on staff here at New Vintage. I have the pleasure of running the middle school department, which is called Transit. And yeah, that's right. We have many transit students here today, so good job, guys. In transit, we have a saying. It means when you're equally as excited about something as nervous, we call it nearsighted. So let me begin the morning by letting you know that I am incredibly humbled and nearsighted to be here with you. We're in week 3 of our series, Unoffendable, where for the last few weeks, Darren has been taking some brilliant ideas from this book and author, Brant Hansen, and we have been discussing them. Now, if you weren't here for week 1 and 2, don't worry, don't get offended. I'm going to catch you up. In week 1 of Unoffendable, we talked about anger. We addressed the fact that we all get angry, right? We talked about some things that make us angry, like when you're pulling into a very crowded parking lot, you see one spot open, and there is a shopping cart in the middle of that parking spot. Maybe loud chewing. That makes a lot of people angry. When you're in a hurry at the grocery store and you go into the express line and you have 2 things, the person in front of you has 19 and you're only supposed to have 12, right? Dirty socks from a soccer game that are wadded up in balls on the kitchen table where the food goes. 25 half-drank plastic water bottles all over the house that no one's gonna touch. Or maybe animals dressed as humans. These are things that make me angry, okay? I too get angry. But in all jokes aside, in week 1, we talked about anger. We talked about how Christians, those of us that call ourselves Christians because we follow Jesus, we're actually not supposed to hold on to our anger because it gives the enemy a foothold in our lives. So we are supposed to let go of our anger as quickly as we can so that we can go into the world and love people much like Michael. You see, in week 1, Darren read us a story from this book about a Christian gentleman named Michael who bought a building. Prior to Michael buying the building had been used for a venue for an art show. And the art displayed at this particular show was not the same type of art that morally lined up with Michael's views on the world. So, after finding out that Michael bought the building, the artists assumed that they would have to find a new venue for their event. However, Michael chose not to be offended or angry by the art, and he decided to dress up in a tuxedo to welcome those artists to have their show, their event in his building, and he greeted them at the door with chocolate-covered strawberries. I love that. So good. In week 2 of Unoffendable, we talked about how exhausting it is to hold on to anger, how it wears us down, and instead of holding on to anger, Darren talked to us about finding opportunities in the world to add value to people, to the world and culture around us by loving on people. Darren talked about how often we don't trust that God has got it under control, and how if we are just still and we know that he's got it, we can do what he calls us to do. He encouraged us to go to Psalm 46:10, which says, "Be still and know that I'm God." So those of us who are Jesus followers, if we have a big, big God that can do big, big things, we can trust that he's got it. We can let go of our anger and we can move into the world and love on people. So good. Now, that brings us to week 3 this morning. This particular message is going to be directed at Jesus followers. Here's why. I think we have 2 tweaks that I'd like to introduce you to that could impact our culture and the world around us in such a great way. So, if you're not a Jesus follower, I invite you to just sit back and relax and maybe clap at the end. Only if you want to. I won't force you to, but I also won't stop you if you choose to. As we recapped week 1 and 2, and we talk about how angry we get, and I said, Let go of your anger. And then go out and love people. Is that easy? No. And don't think for one second that because I'm standing here right now, that I let go of my anger well, or that I love people well. I promise you that's not the case. In fact, when Darren offered me the job to run transit a little over 2 years ago, I had a few individuals that approached me and said that I have no business teaching students anything biblically or running that environment. Okay? Fast forward about a year, the first time Darren asked me to do this exact thing. And I was told by some people that I had absolutely no business teaching from this stage because I'm a woman. A few months ago, the New Vintage staff received some feedback that it is incredibly difficult to look at me while I'm standing here, that I appear as if I know everything, and that I am arrogant. Well, guys, turns out I'm not yet unoffendable. Yeah, that sucks. That hurts. Makes me angry, and it offends me. Because there is no one on this earth, when I stand here this morning, when I've ever stood here in the past, or when I stand in front of a group of students or parents, that thinks that I am inadequate for the job more than me. There is no one more than me that thinks, oh dear Lord, why Natalie? I promise you that. But I'm doing it. Thank you. Thank you. Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever heard that somebody didn't like you? Or that the negative dialogue in your brain is actually confirmed by what someone else thinks of you? Have you ever went to do something and had someone say to you, no, you're not the girl or you're not the guy for that, when you already feel that way? Well, you see, here's how that relates to today. I think when we hear those things, we want to disconnect and we want to disengage. Because when I heard those things about myself, what I thought was, I am never stepping foot on this stage again. And I'm never stepping foot in front of students again. And I think that's the same way that the church has approached the world. You see, we hear that the world doesn't like the church. And what do? We disengage and we disconnect. When culture around us isn't as we think we see fit, what do? We disengage and we disconnect. Think about it, Christians. We isolate, we retreat, we hide away, we keep people at an arm's length, we stay in our evangelical safety zones. We think that if we stay in our holy huddles that we create with like-minded people, that we're safe, we're guarded, we're protected. We get so hung up on culture around us. The music people listen to, the relationships they choose to be in, the way people dress, the language people use, the way people parent, just to name a few. And we get so bothered by culture that we can't love people. Did you catch that? We get so bothered by the culture around us that we can't even love people. If we as Christians identify culture as bad or unhealthy, we hide away from it. And this is the first thing I think we should tweak. Because if Jesus is who we follow, if we call ourselves Jesus followers, if we call ourselves Christians, we follow the one that did not disconnect from culture. We follow the one that was rejected by the world and decided to connect with the world. In fact, the world's rejection moved Jesus to a greater connection. He did something about that rejection. We're going to look for just a second at Philippians 2, 3 through 8. We're going to start with verse 3 and build up to the big idea here. Verse 3 says, "Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves." Okay, pause there for just a second. Humility. What a gift. What if we could just take a little bit of humility and we could sprinkle it all over the Christians of the world? What a drastic change that would make. Verse 4. "Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too." Okay, pause again right there. Selflessness plus humility. Guys, it's like chocolate and peanut butter. Drastic changes to the culture around us. Drastic changes to the world. If we could just have a little bit more of that. Verse 5, "You must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. Though he was God, he did not think of equality with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born a human being when he appeared in human form." So Jesus came to earth as a human to connect with culture and with us. He didn't run from culture. He actually chose to get closer to it. Verse 8, "He humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on a cross." Okay, so if heaven is the greatest thing we will ever know, we can read it in the Bible. Heaven is so spectacular that our brains can't even fathom what it's like. That's how great it is. And the man, the King of Kings, who sits on the throne of all thrones, chose to come to a world that rejected him as a human to connect with us. He didn't play it safe in heaven. He didn't stay away from culture. He didn't allow our rejection to keep him in disconnection. If he would have stayed in heaven, we would have every right to stay in our churches. But he didn't, so we don't. We have to break out of our holy huddles because Jesus made the ultimate sacrifice and came here to be one of us, to get in the mess of life with messy people. And he calls all of the Christians that choose to follow him to do the same thing. You know, over and over again in the Bible, you can read that Jesus was liked by so many people that were nothing like him. He hung with prostitutes. He ate with tax collectors. He touched the broken. He was in the middle of all of the crowds. There was no social distancing for Jesus. He connected with people that were nothing like him at all and didn't allow culture to keep him at an arm's length. There's a story, short story, don't worry, in this book that I knew you just had to hear this morning. And so I'm going to very quickly read it to you. In the book, Messy Spirituality, the author quotes a story from another book that he's read. In the book, Messy Spirituality, the author told a story about a small group of American soldiers during World War II who sought out a burial site for one of their fallen friends. They were pulling out the next day and were hoping to bury him in a fenced churchyard cemetery nearby. As the sun was setting, they approached the house next to the church and knocked on the door. The priest answered. They asked him if they could bury their friend in the cemetery. "I'm sorry," the priest replied, "but that's only for members of our church." The priest went on to tell the soldiers they could, however, if they chose, bury their comrade near the cemetery on the outside of the fence. They were saddened, but only had few options, so that's what they did. The next day, they wanted to visit their fellow soldier's gravesite one last time before moving on. When they came to the churchyard, they were shocked. They couldn't find the grave. It simply wasn't there. One of them went to the door and knocked. "What happened to the grave we dug?" one soldier asked when the priest answered. "It's not there. We dug it last night and it's not there." "Oh, it's still there," said the priest. The soldier was baffled. "You see, last night I couldn't sleep," the priest confessed. "All I could think about was what I told you. You couldn't bury your friend inside our fence, and I regretted it. So last night, I got up and I moved the fence." I love this, you guys. I love this. The priest, he could have closed the door, ate his dinner, knocked out, done. This is culture. This is what the rules say. You're not a part of this church. You're on the outside of the fence. But he didn't. He jumped into loving these people the way that Jesus calls us to. He literally got into the mess of life, in the dirt, with these people and moved the fence in the middle of the night. He did something. He moved the fence. This is what Christians should be known for, you guys. We should be moving fences all over Sonoma County and all over the world. What a drastic change that could make. And this is tweak 2. And it's the big one. What if we were to go into the world and do something? What if we didn't let culture hold us back? What if we thought the fallen soldier and his friends are more important than who is buried in this cemetery and what church they attend? What kind of impact could that make on our world? Adam, could you please grab my fence? Adam is going to bring over a fence. Now, I know. It's a pallet. I know. And a lot of people in the first hour want me to know that it's a pallet with legs. I understand that. But, yeah, right there. It's perfect. Thank you so much. But see, offense is really big, and I'm not. And so I had to have something that I could use easily. The things written on this fence, you see, these are things that the people of New Vintage Church have done or are doing to go into our world, to move into culture, to let our neighbors know that we love them and that we are for this city. So Go Local. That was a series that we did about a year ago where we encouraged people to go into small businesses to spend their money for businesses that were financially drained from COVID. Wish lists. We fulfill the wish lists of teachers at Village Elementary School anytime they need any supplies for their school. Monty Football. Kevin Kabandi is our high school pastor. And he is a character coach with the Montgomery football team. He spends practices with them. He is at all of their games. He brings them breakfast, and he gives them a message every single week. Bailey's Christmas. Last year, we did it for the first time. We set up the warehouse as a Christmas shop, and we have parents for underprivileged kids come to the shop and get gifts for their children so that Christmas morning, their kids have something to open, and parents are the heroes. Serve Day. Bobby talked to you about that earlier. October 23rd, mark your calendars. We literally go into Sonoma County and we serve businesses and schools in any way that we can. Schools. We are partnering with schools constantly. We are handing out treats. We are giving popsicles to track teams. We are showing up at football games. We are showing up at soccer games. We are doing anything we can. We are feeding teachers lunches anytime we can. We are asking the administration, how can we help you? How can we serve you? Christmas is. That's when we turned the parking lot into a winter wonderland during COVID, during lockdown, and had families drive through and get candy, full Christmas dinners, and presents that they could put under the tree. Nomadic shelter. Each month we have vans full of homeless folk that get a warm place to sleep, a movie to watch, and a hot meal for on this campus all night long. CR, Celebrate Recovery. Every Tuesday night in the warehouse. Hurts, hang-ups, and any kind of struggle in life. They feed you dinner, and they have worship, and they are there to love on you in any way they can. Wonderful. Wonderful. I like that enthusiasm. Single parents, anything they need, diapers, a car, rent, groceries, you name it. And JC football. We have hosted and fed the JC football team a few times, and we will continue to do so. Adam, would you mind turning this for me, please? Guys, here comes the best part. This is my favorite part. Thank you, sir. This is our do something fence. Now, I know there's 1,000 ways to get connected in culture. There's 1,000 things you can do. Maybe it's not moving a fence for you. Maybe it's something else. But these are just a few ideas that we came up with that you could implement in your life as a Jesus follower to make a difference in the culture around you. Join a PTA. Make a difference on that board. Serve here at this church. You can serve in Kidsmen. You could serve in Inside Out. You could serve in Transit. You could serve on guest services. You could join the tech team. We have so many places for you to serve. And if you think I'm trying to pull one over on you, don't worry. Don't serve here. Serve at a different nonprofit if that's what's best for you. Mow the lawn of your elderly neighbor. Don't tell them. Just get your lawnmower, fill it up with gas, and go out there and get it done. Be the team mom or the team parent of a team that needs it. Help out a coach. Host someone for dinner. It's not a marriage, guys. It's just a dinner date. Invite them over. Make them a hot meal. Call a family. I can't tell you how many times we hear of a family that's hurting. Marriage isn't so great. Parenting isn't going so well. We know that. Life is hard and messy. So call a parent or snap a student of someone you know that just needs a little bit of encouragement. Take a meal to the person that isn't your biggest fan. That's a hard one. Be curious. As I said earlier, when we hear that people around us don't like the church, that's okay. But be curious, engage, connect. Don't let that be the reason that you keep them at an arm's length. Don't let that be the thing that keeps you disconnected. Because hiding in chairs like this, it doesn't solve anything. Sitting in the building complaining impacts no one in a positive way. As I was thinking of how to wrap this up today, I couldn't get one line from this book out of my mind, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, love people where they are and love them boldly. If you really want to get crazy, like them too. When we love people, and when we like people that are nothing like us, they can tell. But when we genuinely like them, it moves us to do something for them. We went over two things today. One is with your heart, and one is with your hands. You see, when we get our heart right, our hands follow. So what do you say, New Vintage? What do you say, Jesus followers? Let's go into Sonoma County. Let's love people where they are, and let's love them boldly. And let's do something. Thanks, guys. We're going to pray. Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you for leaving all of your divine privileges. Thank you for loving us so much that you wanted to become human just to connect with us. That you wanted to get into the mess of life with messy people so that we may know how incredibly loved we are by you. As we move into Sonoma County, as we show this entire city that we are for them, God, let us love people boldly. Be with us so that our hearts and our hands are exactly as you'd like them to be, so that people can see us doing something in your name, so that they can see you through us and they can know how incredibly loved they are. In Jesus' name, amen. If this is your first time here, I would love to connect with you. Back on the red carpet to my left. And happy Sunday, guys. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week.